Hello everybody, welcome to Ageless Rock channel. Today we're going to check out an interesting underground city found in Turkey. For this, we have to go to Asigol district of Nevşehir province. So let's put on our megalithic lens and see what others don't see. At some point in history, Anatolia was inhabited by a very different civilization. The history of Anatolia, with a civilization capable of doing something totally different from nomadic hunters and gatherers, that goes back to approximately 4,000 years ago. The civilization that created underground cities is clearly different from us. The province of Nevşehir in the Cappadocia region should be enough to open our eyes to the fact that whoever chiseled into the bedrock had other plans in mind simply by looking at the layout. Tatlarin is a small town with approximately 2,000 population, but in ancient times there was a need to house thousands of inhabitants at subterranean level just in case enemies might wipe them out. While they were chiseling tunnels and chambers and stone doors, they were living happily above ground level. The idea that underground cities were carved out for hiding from enemies is a product of imagination. It might have been used as such at Tatlarin, but carved out tunnels and chambers are everywhere. Do you think ancient inhabitants carved the entire bedrock to live inside and to hide as well? Tatlarin Underground City was discovered in 1975 when the original entrance collapsed. It takes a while to excavate and investigate. It wasn't until 16 years later, in 1991, two levels became open to public. If the locals did this, they would have carved 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, living room and kitchen all over the cliff and underground. This room has the mysterious circular stone with a hole in the middle which mainstream says is a stone door. But you can check out my circular stone comparison video and see for yourself if this is a door or an object we have no idea what it is for. If enemies are coming in through the tunnel and you roll the stone door to block the enemies can still topple the stone door. Also, there are 2 other entrances they can find you. Ancient inhabitants here lived on top in wooden houses or brick houses with rectangular doors that have doorknobs. But for some unknown reason, when they go underground, they switch to round stones. Is that even logical? And then, when it was rediscovered in 1975, modern inhabitants switched back to rectangular doors with knobs and hinges. What is the logic of carving exceeding the need to the point that no one knows why so many tunnels and chambers were needed? But the nice flat surface of the cliff is suspicious to me. It is a nice flat and smooth surface that looks like a giant knife went through the cliff like butter. It slices open the inner bedrock and exposes a new surface of reddish sandstone below the basalt top. You can find similar technique of slicing bedrock at Longmen Grottos in Henan province of China. It is pretty obvious to me that Chinese did not make the top nice and smooth, but left the part above the Buddha rough and uncut. It would have been the opposite if those who carved this were Buddhists. The surface of this cliff is simply too smooth to be the result of natural formation. But who in their right mind would like to make the cliff exterior smooth for no reason? The unknown ancient builders also left a lot of niches in 3 rows to tell us that humans are not the architect of such random holes and tunnels that make no sense. This underground system, largely sold as an idea that people were here living in fear due to unstoppable enemies, is going to find them and kill them, is a theory we have yet to prove. It takes a long time to carve bedrock into tunnels and chambers, but they are underground as well as above the ground. The grand entrance is hardly an idea of a hideout. So much bedrock removed to make a grand entrance, but the main idea is to hide from enemies, is not going to sell if you have megalithic lands. I can imagine this hall to be pitch dark without any source of light. If the candles run out, there are 3 holes that can be fatal. This is hardly a good room to be in with 100 people hiding and the light goes out. I wonder what is the story of the round stone to be in the room. This round stone blocking enemies and therefore saves lives is a theory yet to be proven. As for this rectangular hole, I don't know what it is for, but I'm not convinced it is a tomb. I can see it might be used as a water tank, but someone has to navigate a lot of buckets through the tunnels to fill it up and to use it for only a day or two before it gets contaminated again. This is a structure we are told it is a toilet. I am not sure if that has ever been used for that purpose. This toilet design is extremely poor design because the tank is an open hole in front and you have to leap up a little bit to be seated down. One slip of your foot and you would be in deep shit. We praise the ancient inhabitants for drilling ventilation shafts, but yet there seems to be none here. This tunnel will sting from end to end. I wonder how long can we take this shit before we realize that 2 legs dangling above your own shit is not a good idea. The other toilet is also of poor design. I wonder who is going to volunteer to pick up the fertilizer to be disposed above ground level. This would have been a tomb if not for the top that can be seated like a toilet seat. For thousands of villagers crapping in fear, this is the bullshit chamber. But where is the shit? There is no running water for cleanup. This theory stinks. I do not know what to make of this design as perceived by archaeologists, but the stinky toilets are too close to 2 dining rooms. There is 1 dining room without toilet and diners will have a long way to walk to the toilet. A grave next to a dining room is not a very good idea. There seems to be a small ventilation shaft, but I think one small shaft is not good enough. Something is wrong with the picture. I am pretty sure that the unknown civilization that was here lived like a hobbit. They don't plan to hide from enemies because entrances can be found all over and they have no door. Seems like they are open-minded people and are not afraid of cold winter. Ancient human inhabitants lived at ground level and had houses with regular rectangular doors and windows. This is a tale of 2 cities. One is above and the other below. Near the underground city entrance, there is a church. I can see that this room was used by Christians, but I cannot see that Christians carved the bedrock to worship God. It goes to show that the underground city is never meant to be a hideout if ancient inhabitants did this. This area was meant to attract a lot of people and hardly a good idea to hide thousands of villagers. There are many rock-cut churches in this area, and to conclude that Christians carved this with ancient chisels is a loose connection to me. Christians are interested in worshipping God. Strong men of any religion are needed to chisel bedrock for decades. You pay them a fair wage and they will hew the bedrock for any reason or no reasons at all. I believe the manpower to carve 2 churches could be better used to make 100 churches above ground level. Stairway with steps scooped out of the bedrock is another clear construction method that shows the unknown ancient builders did this. From India to Peru to Egypt and around the world, stairs with scoop technology is here to tell you that humans with chisels got better things to do. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation on Tatlarin Underground City, where two different cities existed. See you in the next video and have a wonderful day. This is Berniong signing out. Sonra Gorosurus Gule Gule.